All right, Algoritmus, happy Thursday. Sorry that we're running a little bit late, but I fell asleep. And I'm just waking up. I do apologize. Let's see who's in here joining us tonight. Taya. Can y'all put Dresky on the docket? Venetia Phillips, welcome back. Lathea Robin Smith, welcome back. Every evening, everyone. Liked from St. Louis. Essie Stone, welcome back. SL, good to see you as always. Tasia, like Fantasia, welcome back. Hey, y'all, happy Friday Eve. Deliria Washington, welcome back. Venetia Phillips, always good to see your name when I log on to do the show. Welcome back. JP Mills, you too as well. Colette Davis, all right, welcome back. Just another YouTube channel. Welcome back. Protecting My Peace 44, welcome back. And who else? Riri, come on, Riri, welcome back. Dominic Starr, welcome back. And Val Rice, welcome back. Everybody, welcome to Thursday night's edition of Celebrity Court, where contracts, courts, and clippers, and who we're going to find guilty tonight is tonight's episode. All right, everybody, this is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, the only courtroom where the jury is you and the verdict comes from you. And the verdict comes from you, of course, but with a side of shade. Tonight, 4 cases that prove the law and celebrity are a messy marriage. First up, we have Cardi B walks away from a $24 million lawsuit clean, not liable. Skater prodigy Tyshawn Jones takes on Supreme in a $26 million fashion fight. The John Amos, all good times, that's how I think of it, estate is a family feud turned now into a courtroom drama. And Mr. Leonard and the Clippers, what? Facing questions over a $28 million no-show endorsement deal. That's right. You heard us correctly. Remember, fame doesn't protect you from the law, but it sure does complicate it at times. And tonight we're going to unpack everything that you want to know. Let's get to the docket. But before we get started, let's introduce our legal beagles that are joining us tonight. First up, we have that fiery civil attorney, Shatan Turner. Shatan, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Glad to be back, Your Honor. And you know I must love you since I am giving up Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley right now for you.
This is a big deal. I am very privileged here. All right, joining her is that an entertainment attorney, Esquire Ashley Carter. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Hi, everybody. Happy to be back. Don't forget to visit me at theentertainmentesq.com offline in between shows. I would love to hear from you.
All right, and last but not least, humorist at law, Sean Carter is taking the ladies by himself in the middle. A threesome tonight. Sean Carter, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
I've heard I'm not so good at a twosome. So, ladies, you're going to be in a little trouble.
All right, don't get in trouble with Miss Carter tonight, because that's the problem. She's going to lock you in that garage. So. All right, everybody. Be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, don't forget to hit that share button and invite some friends over to enjoy the show. As always, don't forget to turn on your notifications and drop down in that chat because we love hearing from you. Court is now in session. Listen, everybody. First up, Cardi B faced off against former security guard Imani Ellis, accused of assault, spitting, and cutting Ellis during a doctor's visit in 2018. Now, Ellis claimed major injuries, plastic surgery, and even career loss. But Cardi said Ellis invaded her privacy while she was pregnant. The doctor and receptionist, guess what? Backed Cardi B. Jury decided, look, no liability. Cardi B leaves court richer in reputation. And guess what? Also, not poor in her pocket. Let's check her out and see what this is all about. Bailiff, take it away. Please mute your mic.
Yes, Cardi. What's the verdict? Hey, Cardi, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Cardi, insiders are claiming that Offset is publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the 4th time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect me.
I got another marker, Cardi.
Cardi, your court look is amazing.
You're amazing, Cardi. I still love you, even though you just threw some stuff at
I
me.
don't care. You're disrespectful. Don't do that. Do you see women asking those type of questions to me?
No,
You see
ma'am.
women asking those questions to me?
It's legit.
Why do you feel as a man you get to ask me those type of questions? Act like you have some manners. And your mama taught you, respect women.
All right, let's jump right into this. All right, Attorney Ashley Carter, let's start with you first. Given what we know, how much weight do juries give to celebrity testimony versus the security person who is a medical staff? Where did they go wrong here? Where did where did Imani, is that her name? Where did Imani Ellis go wrong here?
Well, she went wrong with the lies. That's essentially what happened here. So there were a couple of things that were uncovered to make her less believable than Cardi. First of all, there was a scar that she said at first she reported it was like on her nose, and then magically it moved to her cheek. And then even if you say, okay, I maybe misspoke about where my scar was, we zoomed in on the evidence of her cheek, and there was just no evidence to support that her face was injured to the extent that she mentioned. And then the biggest piece of evidence that made her a less credible witness than Cardi is that the attack, based on forensics or whatever, would have been from someone that was right-handed. Cardi B is left-handed, so it would have made the attack less likely to come from her. So yeah, her lies is what got her here. I think if she had been more believable with her evidence, I don't think it would have mattered as much. I think she would have had a chance. And then I also do think celebrity does help if the person is well liked. Cardi B, for the most part, is well liked, so she already had an uphill battle as far as I'm concerned.
Got it. Okay, let's go to you, Attorney Turner. Shaitan, what does this case tell us about the burden of proof in civil trials? Because we know this was a civil trial, especially when damages sought are so inflated. Like for me, I really think her mistake was trying to get $25 million. What say you, counselor?
Asking for $25 million under these circumstances shocks the conscience, as they say. So yes, that was one of her mistakes. Another mistake, as it related to carrying the preponderance of the evidence standard, had to do with the facts themselves. So Cardi B was going to a doctor's appointment. Nobody goes to a doctor's appointment seeking a fight with somebody who's security heavy. I got to tell you, there was some great testimony in this trial that just made me, like Cardi said, look at her. Look, she's protect the building big. Like she invented shade. So what she did, which was powerful, was paint this visual of her as this smaller person who was vulnerable because she was pregnant, confronting this large person who had an incentive to lie because Cardi had 25 million and the woman wanted 25 million. So I think that that's what made it difficult for her to carry that burden of proof.
Oh, that makes sense. All right, let's go to you, Sean Carter. Could Ellis face, because we saw Cardi later did a press conference and she said that she is going to countersue. Could Ellis face countersuits for reputational harm now that Cardi's been cleared?
It's hard. All right, reputational harm be hard because she lost. So Cardi B hasn't had a reputation hurt at all here. As far as the malicious prosecution, it really is a very high standard. You have to prove the other person not only was wrong, but knew they were wrong and knew they were crazy. All right. And I would imagine that this chick don't know how crazy she is, but she's crazy though. All right. If you ask for $25 million because your face got scratched up, you need to come out looking like Seal. All right. You can't just come out with just, one little mark here.
Right.
She ain't got 20. And by the way, she ain't got $24 million of face. I looked at her. She got about 24,000 of face. If you put on 19,000 of makeup. All right. You can't ask for 20.
I can't with you.
It's true. Think about how crazy this is. She asked for 24 million. I looked at it, all right, and the only case I've ever saw crazy was one fool asked for $2 quintillion, which is 18 zeros, and
What?
which is 5,000 times more money than there's all on the earth combined. But still, that case made more sense than hers. All right, and I can't believe his lawyer. You know where the lawyer went to law school? Her lawyer went to law school at Hogwarts. Because that's the only place you could possibly come up with some magical thinking that would get you, all right, $24 million because your security guard face got scratched up.
All right, so let me ask the obvious question. How does this type of lawsuit get into the criminal system? How she just made this number up. Some lawyer said, okay, let's go for it. And let's attack Cardi B because that just happens to be, getting celebrities asking for millions, like 25 million is the thing. How is it possible that our judicial system gets clogged with these type of civil cases? Either lawyer can take on that question, please.
I think the big problem is, and other countries do it differently. In America, if you sue someone, even if you're wrong, you don't have to pay for their lawyers. Some other countries say, no. If you're wrong, the loser pays. And if she had to pay for Cardi B's expensive lawyers, all right, she probably would have thought differently of it. But she figured, hey, I got nothing to lose here. All right. What would she have? A week of building sizing to lose, right? She and so that's part of the problem. This took up, by the way, a week and a half of court time for this nonsense.
Right, that's crazy to me.
Also, she didn't have to pay her. I'm sure her attorney probably took this on contingency. So
no, he did exactly. So it was free for her, and Cardi didn't have to pay Cardi's lawyers.
Right, her lawyer knew if he didn't win for the security guard that he would have done all this work in vain. So yeah, there was really no loss here per se. I mean, she is embarrassed publicly now, and actually, Cardi said she is being nice. She is not going to countersue this particular one, but she said moving forward, let this case serve as a warning. If anybody else after her comes at her with a frivolous suit, then she will countersue.
All right, let's go to the viewers. Algorithm, do you believe Cardi won because of the evidence or because of her star power? Drop down in the chat really quickly. Did Cardi B win because of the evidence or because of her star power? Put evidence or star power, whichever way that you land on this right here. My opinion, Cardi says stop the cap. And guess what? The jury agreed. Ellis wanted 24 million, but left with 0 and a forehead full of losses. All right, everybody. From the Bronx to the boardroom, let's skate right into our next case. When Supreme drops a contract, is it business or betrayal? Skateboarding phenom Tyshawn Jones grew up with Supreme since 11 years old, which I did not know he was their guy. He repped the brand daily for $1 million a year. Now he says Supreme cut him loose unfairly after being acquired by a corporate parent. Now, Supreme says Tyshawn violated exclusivity by doing a Marc Jacobs ad. Ooh, this is juicy. He says that's nonsense, and now he wants his $26 million plus damages for reputational harm. All right, let's go to you, attorney Sean Carter. How ironclad are these exclusivity clauses in fashion contracts? Are they absolute? Or are they negotiable? Because from what I understand, what I read was that Supreme said that he was supposed to wear all Supreme clothes every day, all day, including his underwear. Attorney Carter, talk to us. How does this work?
That's so funny. I just looked at it, by the way. It's $40 per pair of drawers. I guess that's fine. Here's the thing is, normally when you sign these type of contracts, you have an exclusivity, but it's for competing brands. So to give you an example, right? LeBron's got a big contract with Nike, all right? But he can still wear a Brooks Brothers suit, okay? Because they're not competing, right? But I don't think Nike is making business suits. And basically they're saying, and for years he's been doing other stuff. He did this Jacobs thing, and they're saying, hey, it's a competing brand. And that's not really a competing brand, right? In my understanding, Marc Jacobs sells high fashion, luxury item, handbags, etc. And so saying that that's competing is like saying that that Olive Garden is competing with Nobu. Right? Yeah, they both sell food, but no one's gonna get them confused.
Well, let's go to you, Shaitan, because in my opinion, if they are paying you $1 million a month and you agree to it, you know the terms, right? So in this case, he's saying, I want to now go back and sue for defamation. I don't understand. How do defamation claims factor in when companies told you that you had to wear their clothes? And if you don't wear their clothes, you're breaking the deal. How can he sue for defamation for that?
So defamation cases, as we've talked about here before, have to do with false information that's presented as fact that puts up the person that you're talking about in a negative light. In this case, his argument is they damaged his reputation by calling him a contract breacher. Right. They're saying that he breached the contract, and as a result of them spreading these lies from his perspective, it has damaged his reputation, resulting in him being unable to secure other endorsement deals. So the reason we're here is because of that fact. And what I imagine he's going to make is an argument like Attorney Carter, that the contract was vague, that there are industry standards suggesting that it's only competing brands that are affected. And I'm not dropping my pants for anybody. So, how would you even know if my underwear is yours or not? Right?
Right. Okay, let's go to you, Ashley Carter. Could Tyshawn's long history with Supreme create implied rights or damages beyond the contract?
Well, I think the history shows that for the most part, he's been compliant. I mean, he says he's been doing this since he was 11. I don't even know who he is. You said he's a skateboarder, and this person, I mean, maybe I picked the wrong profession. You're a skateboarder and you're getting $1 million a year just to wear one brand. But I agree with the other Attorney Carter that if you're going to try to enforce exclusivity here, to use his likeness with your clothes and say, oh, you can't have any other brands. It would have to be competing for it to make sense. Also, there's this thing called a cure period in a contract. So let's just say I am wrong, right? I made a mistake, accidentally wore Gucci drawers the next day. You think Gucci is a competitor. Let's just say he genuinely made a mistake. There is a cure period that all contracts like this have. So I can't believe there wasn't a period of time where he couldn't have fixed this so that the contract could continue on. So I have a feeling they are in a breach of that as it relates to him. And in terms of defamation, false statement is a false statement if in fact, he didn't do what he said he didn't do.
All right, so I'm gonna say the obvious here. If I had $1 million contract, I wouldn't wear no other clothes but those clothes. And because I know, I don't care if it's a competing, I would never put myself in a position where I would jeopardize that easy money where all I have to do is wear their clothes. In what mind does it make any sense to wear anybody else's clothes? And then also, where do you get off then countersuing for $25 million? Are these sums for countersuits and suits just inflated, or what is going on? Did Diddy's case do this? Attorney Sean Carter, talk to me. What is going on? I'm so confused.
No, people, I told you about the quintillion dollar. People think that, hey, and it kind of makes sense. The idea is that if I ask for a quintillion dollars, then maybe I'll get a quadrillion. Right. So he doesn't necessarily think he's going to get the whole 25 million. But if he only asks for 2 million, he knows he can't get 3. Right. So you figure you ask for more, and there's limits to this. And this is what happened in the Cardi B case. There's a point in which you go too far. I think even if that woman had been scratched up, looked like a chimp had gotten at her face, it wouldn't have mattered if she asked for 25 million. Right. People would have blanched. And so in his case, his 25 million might not be that far. What I would like to know is, and once again, we don't really know who these people are. I apologize because I should know who the brother is, but I don't skateboard. In fact, I didn't even know it was illegal for Black people to skateboard, so I'm happy for it. but the thing about it, I like to try to keep both of my feet on the ground, right? But the idea here is that, I'm guessing and I don't know this for that he is not as hot on the skateboard block as he used to be, and they're trying to get out of this contract.
Yeah, that's what it
He
sounds
had
like.
3 more years on the contract, and they're like, we want to get out.
All right, let's go to the chat. Danielle Cameron says, is it $1 million plus a monthly allowance for the clothes I'm supposed to wear? No, you actually get clothes for free. So you get $1 million. And I think I've read somewhere where his was like $87,000 a month just to wear the clothes, and they send you the clothes. So you have to pay for nothing. All right, let's go to the algoritors. Algoritors, whose side are you on in this fashion feud? Is it Tyshawn or is it Supreme? Drop down in the chat. Is it Tyshawn or is it Supreme? Like, whose side are you on? Do you think if you paid somebody to promote your brand, would you want them to renege and wear another brand? Drop down in the chat. Whose side are you on in this fashion feud? Is it Tyshawn or Supreme? Drop down in the chat. Tyshawn, if you're for shot. Tyshawn, drop down in the chat. Supreme, if you're for Supreme. Now, this is what's interesting. Supreme says skate or die. Pretty much, right? But Tyshawn says pay or die. This also could be the Ollie heard around the world. I think a lot of people are going to be following this. This is going to change the game for endorsement. All right.
One quick thing.
And Supreme, if you're listening to this, feel free to outfit the celebrity court panel. We will gladly take the endorsement and follow the rules.
Well, Your Honor, one quick thing I wanted to add, because I wasn't aware of who he was either, like the attorney Ashley Carter, but he is a cutie. Put that picture back up there.
Order in the court. Order.
Relevant though. No, but it's relevant to this.
Okay.
His damages are grounded in the fact that I think he's trying to leverage his looks and to make himself a commodity above and beyond his sport. And so if they damage his reputation such that no other brands want to collaborate with him, then he's arguing that he has all of these years of damages that would have accrued based on them damaging his reputation. And with that face, I think people would pay him to wear their clothes.
I'm gonna agree with Danielle Cameron on this. She said, sir, you had one job, just wear the damn clothes. You got one job, brother, is to wear the clothes. And the fact that you breached that knowingly, see, it would be different if he was in year 1 or year 2 or year 3 or year 4. Dude, you've been wearing these same clothes for 10 years. What makes you think that you can get up one day and put on Marc Jacobs? Then you have to return the money. At least in my opinion. All right, we got a lot of people who dropped down in the chat and said Supreme. They're on Supreme side. They said Supreme. Let's see. Did we have anybody that agreed with him? None that I can see in the chat. All right, let's keep it moving from sneakers and skateboards to silver screens and family schemes. Ooh, this saddens me so much. Let's talk John Amos from Good Times and the family feud that put Dynasty to shame. Legendary actor John Amos passes, and we know that was very sad. And instead of mourning, his kids are at war and have been at war for many years now. Daughter Shannon Amos says brother Casey exploited their father, manipulated the estate papers, drained all the funds, and left her in the dark. She found out about her father's death 45 days later. And guess how, everybody? On social media. Now, Casey says John himself denied elder abuse while alive. Yep, I saw that. We covered this quite a few times on TGIF. Shannon wants the estate assets frozen, though. This is a legal soap opera about exploitation, inheritance, and legacy. Let's go to our legal beagles to unpack this. All right, Shaitan, Attorney Turner, I'm going to start with you. How hard is it, right? Now, how hard is it to prove elderly abuse when A, the alleged victim is no longer here? That's what I want to know. And B, he went on the record and said, hey, everybody, my son, in fact, is not being abused. I mean, it's not abusing me. All right, Attorney Turner, bring us some light, bring us some understanding. Tell us what you know.
You're right. There is an evidentiary problem considering the subject of the alleged abuse is no longer here. But you would try to use circumstantial evidence based on what occurred while they were alive, what other people observed, and the claims that were filed with the Office of elder protection. And so she's been saying this for a while. She is going to discredit her father or attempt to discredit her father's statements to the contrary by saying, look, he was dependent upon my brother to care for him. That was his incentive for making that statement. And oh, by the way, I question his capacity at the time that he denied the abuse. And his father was in the hospital when he died. So their medical records, and she would request those medical records. She may need a subpoena depending on who was the decision maker for her father, and in which case the records may contain some evidence of bed sores or other things that might be suggestive of abuse. He may have been underweight. So all of those kinds of things is what she would attempt to do to say that her brother had been abusing him. But it doesn't.
Attorney Ashley Carter, SL says this sounds like pure messiness. And Juani Jordan says this is sad. You know, this really saddens me too, especially when the person that we valued, he was like America's first dad before
he's one
Cosby.
of our American dads.
He was one of the first dads to show us that even in hard times, that father still got up every day, provided for his family in all of the challenges of living in the projects. Tell me here, what does that sister have to prove in order to get any leverage in this case?
Well, let's talk about what she's trying to do in the immediate. There's a lot of moving pieces. In the immediate, she's trying to just freeze the assets, right? So she's saying until we can get to the bottom of this, no money should be moving around. And I think that's to prevent her brother from benefiting from the estate.
Right. Okay. So right there 1 second, because now that you mention it, that's exactly what I wanted to ask. Can courts legally freeze estate assets just on allegations, or does that sister have to prove have some hard proof?
Well, I don't think it's just it can't just be mere allegations. There's going to have to be some sort of evidentiary hearing to give the court cause. I think in this case, it would almost be considered like a restraining order, like they call it, like a civil restraining order, where there's some sort of injunction order that goes out that says, from this date moving forward, everything is suspended. Nothing can be moved. I mean, look at Wendy. Wendy's estate was suspended for a while until she got a guardian. Prince's estate was suspended until his siblings could figure it out. And then what's her name? Aretha Franklin. They were trying to figure out, was it the wheel in the couch, or was it the wheel in our pocketbook, right? They were trying to decide. They ultimately found that one of the wills was more valid than the other. So we have plenty of celebrity examples of things being frozen until they can figure it out. So I don't see why it couldn't happen in this case. But again, she's going to have to really present as much as she can, to have that move forward.
All right, that's a good idea. Danielle Cameron said, I just don't understand why y'all can't just split the money. Y'all didn't earn it. I'm sure your dad intended it for both of you. So if you're catching up, Danielle, I think he was not as close to the daughter. The daughter went to find herself. She went out of the country. And JC, the son, was the one that took on the took on the day-to-day elder care for him and was making sure he was taken care of. And then, of course, obviously, when she found out that she was being X'd out of the will, she felt like that the brother influenced that move. Sean Carter, if you were representing the daughter, what would you be arguing to the courts on her behalf right now?
I think the only thing you could argue is that, like you just said, that, not just that daddy didn't love her as much, but that the son had put it in his mind, had made him change the will. And maybe if there had been a will change in the last few months, or that changed from both of the kids getting something to only the son, this happens from time to time. But the thing that people have to remember, and this is an important thing lesson is, parents do not love their children all the same. All right, I don't know how to hurt your feelings, and chances are excellent that you are not your. No, I'm going to tell you, you are not probably not your parents' favorite. I found that out myself. My dad passed away last March. I thought I was his favorite. I went to Harvard, damn it. No. His phone, all right, lockout screen was my baby sister. I still got that my sister's picture on his phone because I can't get through the numbers. I'm going through them one by one, right? I'm at about 9998, but I can't get through the phone locked out. That was his favorite, all right? We found I didn't know. I thought I was a favorite. Nope, she the favorite. All right, you're probably not the favorite, and sometimes the parents are going to leave stuff unequally. And I think people think that they have a right to have half of everything. No, parents have a right to decide who gets what.
Who they want. All right, let's go to you, Attorney Attorney Shatan Turner. You're the resident mother here. Well, you got favorites, Shatan? Hope your kids aren't watching.
I know my kids watch this show sometimes, and so no, I love them all equally. But
you lie.
I think what Attorney Carter is, his point is valid, and so that ties into her allegations of elder abuse because she's trying to give the court some explanation for why this might be against her father's wishes and patently unfair. And so accusing her brother of abuse and saying he had undue influence on his father might motivate the court to look at the will differently. And maybe there's another copy or something. And so she can try to, prove that this wasn't what her father wanted. The reason for the injunction is because she's arguing that she will suffer irreparable harm if the court doesn't freeze these assets, because her brother will take all the money and go to Mexico or something, and then she'll be out of luck even if she does have a valid claim.
JP Mills said, Attorney Turner, that was the most political answer. but they not buying what you selling, Attorney Turner. They not buying what you selling.
I got to tell you, though, I don't think it's about the money. I think she just, because I took a look at it, and estimates of John Amos's net worth are not that much. Yeah, they're not that high. I saw one that said 300,000.
Right.
And so basically, the lawyers are going to eat that up. All right. And I think she's like, look, if I can't get nothing, you ain't getting nothing.
You're not going to get nothing. I felt the exact same way. OG Patrice, welcome. OG Patrice. So we've been missing you. Greetings and salutations. Welcome. Christine R says, look, eyeballs, maybe Jason will stop by to check on me.
Not tonight.
That's hilarious. All right, algorithms, we're going to go to you. Do you think that Sister Shannon Amos is fighting for justice, or is she just fighting for money? All right, let me ask the question one more time. Do you think that Sister Shannon Amos is fighting for justice or just fighting for money? Drop down in that chat. Put justice if you think she has a right to fight, or money because she's mad the brother got it all. Drop down in the chat. Now, this is what's so sad for me. Good times turned into bad times real quick when it came to this story. If family is supposed to be forever, the Amos kids definitely did not get the memo. This is just so sad. Okay, and now those likes aren't liking, everybody. I just looked at it. Those likes aren't liking. Please, if you get a chance, hit that like button for us. Also, hit that subscribe button if you're already subscribed. Be sure to hit the share button. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And last but not least, keep the comments coming because we love it. And now, from family estates to basketball, real estate. This one is interesting, and I can't wait for the Legal Beagles to unpack it. When the Clippers signed, how do you say his name, Mr. Leonard, did they also sign up for a $28 million side hustle scheme? Wow, what is going on? Reports say that Mr. Leonard and the Clippers may have used a bankrupt environmental firm, Aspiration, to funnel $28 million to Mr. Clippers LLC. Now, money disguised as an endorsement deal with, guess what? No work time. Now, the NBA is investigating, and if true, this could mirror the infamous Joe Smith scandal that cost the Timberwolves draft picks and millions in fines. Now, I want everybody to know that the Clippers are denying wrongdoing, saying that they This is the funny part. I can't wait to throw this to you, Sean Carter, because they are saying they were defrauded. Now, I know that boy did not sign up to plant trees. No, he didn't sign up to plant trees. So what we have at stake here is draft picks, contracts, and reputation. All right, let's see what the bailiff has. Bailiff, take it away.
All of sports. And this story is absolutely insane. And surprisingly, it all involves Kawhi Leonard and planting trees. Let me get into this. So first and foremost, this was all found out by Pablo Torre here, who has a podcast called Pablo Finds Out. So Pablo saw that a lot of NBA executives were very suspicious about how Steve Ballmer landed Kawhi Leonard on the Clippers. And if you don't know who Steve Ballmer is, he's the former CEO of Microsoft. He owns the Clippers, and he has enough money to do whatever the fuck he wants. Now, apparently the NBA actually looked into this free agency acquisition and was like, hey, we didn't find anything. He didn't do anything to sweeten the deal, so it's cool. But Pablo was like, nah, there's no way. So Pablo did a little more digging, and he found that Steve Ballmer is a huge investor, about $50 million worth, in this tree planting company called Aspire. Now, that company, Aspire, actually went bankrupt, so Pablo looked into their bankruptcy filings to see who they owed money to. And the list included the Clippers, the Red Sox, but also this other tiny little company called KL2 Aspire. Now, just look at this picture and let me ask you who you think the owner of KL2 Aspire is. Kawhi Leonard 2. And if you look at the agreement, it says that the company, Aspiration, is required to pay KL2 $28 million and will pay it $7 million every single year. And there's also another part of the agreement that says if Kawhi retires or he goes to another NBA team, he won't get his money. And on top of that, I don't have a picture, it says that Kawhi doesn't have to do anything, basically. He doesn't need to market, he doesn't need to go to events, he just needs to sit around and collect $7 million every single freaking year. So if you're not understanding what the hell is going on here, Steve Ballmer allegedly made a fake fraudulent shell company so he could pay Kawhi Leonard an extra $28 million freaking dollars to get him on the Clippers in free agency. Not because he doesn't have $28 million, but because there's a salary cap that he can't surpass. So by doing this, basically Kawhi Leonard and Steve Ballmer engaged in fraud, allegedly, and essentially fucked the NBA salary cap. And I can almost guarantee you this has probably happened hundreds of times before. They're just the only ones that get caught.
Wow, how creative was that? Attorney Carter, can this stand in the legal courts?
Which Attorney Carter?
Sean Carter.
I mean, this is going to be a tough one. This is, by the way, not something that's going to be in federal court most likely, but it will be in the NBA, the owners and the commissioners, and it has real consequences. A similar thing happened years and years ago with a guy named Joe Smith. He played for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and this is like 2000. And what they did was they made a deal with him that says, look, we want to keep you under the salary cap, sign for this middle bit of money, and we're going to funnel some money to you later. And when the NBA found out about that, they took away 5 years in a row of the Minnesota Timberwolves draft picks. So they couldn't build their team for 5 years. They fined them millions of dollars. It was a mess. And the Clippers, y'all have enough trouble with draft picks. I don't know what you're going to do without them. And so they're going to have, they built that big stadium or the big new arena. They're trying to, try not to be the Lakers' little brother. And this doesn't look good. And it's likely the case. I looked at the timeline. So Kawhi Leonard signs originally in 2019, signs a 3-year deal. 2 years later, in 2021, in August, they sign him to an extension. Say, hey, we're going to give you $46 million, which seems like it would be enough. But just a couple months later, Ballmer makes his $50 million investment in this company, and coincidentally, $28 million of it goes out to Kawhi for this endorsements. Now, if you know anything about Kawhi Leonard, you know he is not going to be your spokesperson because this Negro don't spoke. All right, you will never need. Think about it. The bailiff, I dare the bailiff try to find some video of Kawhi Leonard speaking. All right, that brother does not talk. All right. And so he would not be your spokesperson. He wouldn't even be your stand person. By the way, I think they photoshopped him in those pictures with the trees. I don't think he planted no trees either. All right.
I was going to say, at least
he looked like a good old tree planter to me.
Kawhi ain't never seen no tree. All right.
Maybe some weed.
And so it does look like
it might be AI.
Yeah, no, it's AI. And it looks a little bit to me like this is a brilliant scheme, because I love the fact that Ballmer's smart. He doesn't give them $28 million. That'd be too easy to trace. He gave them extra 50. He said, you know what, take extra 22. All right. And by the way, I don't think about this guy's a billionaire. I heard he's like the 9th richest person in the country. All right. We used to run Microsoft. He thought that a tree planting company was going to make money. He know damn well you can't make no money planting no trees. All right, this is not an investment that he would, that he was trying to make to try to get a little richer. All right, this is something that he knew, and so I think he did it. I'm pretty sure he did it.
Attorney Turner, let's go to you real quick. Tell me, is Kawhi, or however you say his name, is he liable? It's not his fault. They wanted him on the team. They sweetened the pot. They're the one doing the illegal activity. Is he liable? Can he be called, held liable for what is going on personally, or does this fall on the Clippers organization?
If proven, the evidence supports that the Clippers organization would be the one that broke the rules from an owner's perspective, and he would just be the recipient of the benefit. Interestingly, it would be curious to find out how the NBA would consider him being complicit with it, right? Because now he's getting these payments from this other company, and so he's in on it too. I actually blame his lawyers for this mess, and here's why. Because somebody wanted to be crystal clear in this contract that he had no responsibilities for getting the money. And that's why this podcaster was able to make this case. If they had put in there some language about some, I guess he wouldn't be talking, but some show up and his kids and actually plant trees in the contract, you could argue that he was overpaid, but you wouldn't be able to make the argument that it was just fake, right? Because they get endorsed all the time. So that his lawyers probably required that contract to read that he didn't have to do a damn thing, and they weren't thinking comprehensively that it would be a problem if somebody found out from the NBA's perspective.
Got it. Oh, this is good.
Someone put in the comments, this sounds like a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with the bullshit.
All right, let's go to you, Ashley Carter. Ashley Carter, real quick. How hard is it to prove intent to circumvent a salary cap rule in cases like this?
Well, I think it goes back to what Attorney Shaitan just said. If they had just been smart and put that he had to put up a couple of social media posts, or maybe he had to go to a couple of parents, then the intent, it would be hard to prove. It would be like, hey, you're using his likeness in exchange for this money. Like, he's signing up to endorse. He should be paid, even if it's considered now an overpayment. He didn't do anything wrong. He did these services, X amount of services for this money. The problem is the contract says he doesn't have to do anything. So that goes to, as far as I'm concerned, the intent to participate in the fraud.
Okay. All right. I honestly think this ain't got nothing to do with him. They knew in order to get him there, they had to pay him, and they tried to figure out how to do it. And unfortunately, somebody rang the alarm. Let's go to our algorithms to see how they feel about this. If proven true, should Kawhi be punished or just the Clippers organization? All right, everybody, drop down in the chat. Do you side with Kawhi or the Clippers? So put Kawhi, that's K-A-W-H-I, or Clippers, C-L-I-P-P-E-R-S. Whose side are you on? Kawhi is the king of load management. But let me tell you something, $28 million no-show deal, that's a different kind of resting on the job. That is interesting to me. All right, everybody, drop down in the chat. Side are you on? Are you on Kawhi's side or are you on the Clippers side? This is a portion of the show where we go back over the cases and we decide, along with you, the jury, who is guilty or not guilty. So listen up, jury. You've heard the cases now, and you've seen the receipts, and you've tweeted or you've been in our chat letting everybody know exactly how you feel. Now it's time for the verdicts to be decided here in the court of public opinion. First up, we have Cardi B. Cardi B, we're going to start with you, Shaitan, go to Ashley, and then Sean Carter. Is Cardi B guilty or not guilty of winning with star power over evidence? Attorney Turner, what say you?
Cardi B is not guilty. Cardi won on the evidence, and I am a Cardi fan for this. Don't mess with any pregnant woman as far as I'm concerned.
All right, Ashley Carter.
She's not guilty with this security heavy guard, but she is definitely guilty of assault, throwing that pin at the paparazzi. So she better hope she don't catch another case.
Attorney Sean Carter.
I'm gonna find her the plaintiff's Imani's lawyer not guilty by reason of insanity, because he know he's crazy to bring that lawsuit in the first place.
All right, I'm going to defy all of you. Algorithms drop down in the chat. What do you guys think? Is Cardi B guilty or not guilty? I'm going to find Cardi B guilty. Guilty is charged. You know why? Because she's got anger management problems. You saw how she threw that pin? Maybe she tried to throw hands. I know for a fact she tried to bully that security guard, and that security guard says, I don't care who you are. You ain't going to bully me. And she got up in her face. And she was like, and now, and what you gonna do? You ain't throwing a pin at that security guard. Guilty. Guilty is charged. Next up, everybody, Tayshaun Jones versus Supreme. Who's the real guilty party in this breakup? Shatan Turner, who say you?
I say that Supreme is at fault because nobody that fine could be guilty of anything.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Please cut it out. Attorney Ashley Carter, who's guilty? Tayshaun or Supreme?
Supreme is guilty. Let the boy wear Marc Jacobs. It's not a competitor.
What? All right, Attorney Sean Carter.
We're gonna make it unanimous. And bailiff, help me out. This is why Supreme guilty. Because that shirt costs $278 online. All right. So Supreme is guilty of ripping people off. Supreme need an ass whooping.
All right, I'm Al Reynolds in the court of celebrity, court of public opinion, and we're finding Tayshaun guilty. Guilty of being dumb. You knew you've been wearing these clothes for 10 years. You know you can't wear other clothes. You know if you do, it jeopardizes your contract. So why would you go put other clothes on? Duh, dummy. Guilty. Guilty is charged. Report to the beginning of the line. I mean, the back of the line. That's just dumb. That doesn't make any sense to me. Next up, John Amos' estate. Is John Amos, is the brother guilty or not guilty of family betrayal over fortune? So I guess is KC guilty or not guilty of family betrayal over the fortune? Attorney Attorney Shatan Turner, what say you?
I actually think that John Amos is guilty here because he didn't reconcile his children before death and created this confusion.
But the sister up and left him.
Yeah, Daddy could have made this right.
All right, Ashley Carter, what say you? Guilty or not guilty?
I think Casey is guilty. He knows he should just go ahead and split the money with his sister because according to Attorney Sean Carter, ain't no money. So just split it and move on with your lives and say
Attorney Sean Carter, what say you?
I'm finding Casey not guilty. I'm certainly finding him not guilty of wrongful death. You know why? Because it's hard to kill an 84-year-old black man. All right. 84-year-old black man supposed to be dead. I'm 57. I was supposed to be dead 3 weeks ago. All right. The 84-year-old black man ain't gonna live to be that long. He lucky to get that long. And he seriously, I know a lot of people are saying he should have reconciled. I gotta tell you, you people need to get this straight with yourselves. All right. You are not your parents' favorite. You're not the same. All right. They like your little sister better. She cuter than you. You just gotta live with that.
All right, I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court, and I'm going to find KC not guilty. Not guilty. And honestly, if the truth is that she abandoned him when he had to take care of his daddy, and he had to do all of that on his own without her help, you're not coming back after he's gone and you don't have to wipe butts and shower balls. Okay, you're not coming back when I had to do all that for all those years.
That was graphic.
And I had to feed him. And then the little bit that I am gonna get for taking care of my daddy, you now gonna come in and try to grab some of this? Where were you when he was pooping on himself? Where were you when I was feeding him? Where were you when I had to lift him out of the bed? Where were you when I was bathing him? No. Casey is not guilty. I'm not feeling that one at all. Sorry. You could probably tell that I took care of my mother the last couple of years.
There you go. Yeah, I get it.
So I'm just like, listen, if I had to sacrifice my life and my career to keep my dad alive, and you just were nowhere around, don't come when the cash register's ringing and now it's time for the insurance company to pay me for my pain, and now you want someone you were nowhere around. I'm not buying it. All right, sorry guys, I just went on a tangent. All right, Kawhi versus the Clippers. Who's guilty here? Kawhi is guilty for taking it, or the Clippers is guilty for giving it? Attorney Shatan Turner, what say you?
Oh, you phrased that in a way that had all kind of like double entendres. And stuff.
Oh, I get it. I'm just now getting it. I'm a little slow.
I'm gonna not take that bait, but I'm tempted. But
Okay.
anyway, I think the Clippers are guilty in this circumstance.
All right, Attorney Ashley Carter, what say you?
They are definitely guilty of giving it. Okay, they're definitely guilty of giving it. I'm gonna let Kawhi slide on because he probably didn't read that contract. He's like, "Oh, you just gonna give me this extra money?"
Right. I
got
got
to down to the weeds of the details. So
I agree. Attorney Sean Carter, give us what you think.
I'm gonna say the Clippers owner once again is not guilty because he got a fetish for paying Kawhi Leonard not to do nothing. All right, that man don't play on a game. He done missed the most games. He pay him all the money. And here's the thing is, if you're out there listening, Balmer, I can do Kawhi's job. I can sit on that bench just as well as he can, and for a lot less than $50 million a year. All right, for about $50,000, I will sit on the bench. I'll hand out waters and towels.
You'll plant some trees, Attorney Sean Carter.
I would do what Kawhi did and pose for the AI picture. I'll do that.
All right, I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. We're going to find the Clippers guilty for being stupid. Like, I can't understand how you could be so rich and be so stupid. How can you be so stupid to even do something and not think that you would get caught? And if you're going to do something that dumb, make it legally right? Like what y'all were saying, like have him get like some type of Instagram post supporting the tree company. I $28 million, give that man his money. You deserve to give it to him because you were that dumb. We're going to find the Clippers guilty. All right, everybody, tonight we saw it all. We saw Cardi B beating a $24 million lawsuit. We saw Tyshawn Jones skating circles around Supreme. We saw the Amos family dragging each other back to court, and Kawhi Leonard maybe turning load management into money management. But here's the truth. The law isn't just statutes and contracts. It's also a part that plays deeply is perception, power, as well as public trust. And in celebrity cases, the real verdict isn't in the courtroom. It's right here in the court of public opinion. So I ask you, do you have trust? Who do you counsel? And who do you crown? This is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. I'm Al Reynolds, and court is now adjourned, of course, until the next scandal hits. Thanks, everybody, for joining me this Thursday. Have a great weekend.